I've never been more excited than I am now about the state of Nebraska football. Matt Rhule is building something special, and their 28-21 win over UCLA proved it. Why am I excited about the Cornhuskers, and what did that win prove? Well, namely, I think that game showed that Nebraska evaluates their talent at a high level, evaluates their roster at a Big Ten championship caliber level. Think of Rhule and how well he's panned out and how other 5-stars have totally busted, and think about how he's been developed. Think about Emmett Johnson and how Emmett Johnson right now has basically 1,500 all-purpose yards and could win the Doak Walker Award, and how he was a 3-star out of Minnesota. Now, I know a lot of that was on Scott Frost for recruiting him, but credit to Nebraska for keeping him and finally figuring out that he was running back number 1 this year. TJ Lateef, 3-star, is playing better than a lot of quarterbacks ahead of him as a true freshman. Think about Andrew Marshall and Sear Wright at corner. Both transfers. They've panned out phenomenally. And then Vincent Shavers, who's a younger player, not a high-level player out of high school, but, has a good family, athletic background, and has just succeeded and balled out at linebacker for the Cornhuskers. Their evaluations at most spots have panned out. Offensive and defensive line has been a little bit shakier, but receiver this year panned out. Quarterback, 150% panned out. This quarterback room may have been one of the better evaluations in recent memory with how well TJ Lateef played. That's what that game showed me. On top of how this team at this point entering the bye is 7-3. They have a chance to go 9-3, 8-4, and they already have improved their regular season win total from where it was last year. That's another thing too. Yearly progress. They've improved linearly every year, not just from a record standpoint, because that I don't think is always important because schedules change, but from a power ratings angle, they've improved linearly. You overlap that with improving in terms of win totals, you're going in a very positive direction. And it's the evidence for that is so strong that it can't be refuted. Nebraska is going in the right direction. All evidence points to that. The 25 team is better than the 24 team, which is better than the 23 team, both in power ratings and in regular season wins. That's very important. They're improving linearly under Matt Rhule, who has also, I would say, improved in terms of, I don't know about a game manager, but he has certainly made better staff hires the longer he's been with the Cornhuskers. Development at quarterback is another important thing. So, 23 had Heinrich Harburg, Jeff Sims, and then Purdy. Chubba Purdy. That sucked. That was an awful QB room, one of the worst in America. 2024, you get Rhule. Dramatic improvement. Want to see more out of him, but he didn't solely lose you games like Harburg and Sims and maybe even Purdy did. This channel will make you a college football expert and help you enjoy watching games and make more accurate predictions. So what are you waiting for? Like, subscribe, ring the notification bell, comment your thoughts, and watch the video all the way through so that you can get the full package. And check the description and pinned comment for more ways to help yourself and this channel. And now you get to this year, where Rhule is out for the rest of the year, but before he exited, Dylan Rhule was improving in a variety of ways. So 18 touchdowns to 6 interceptions with 2,000 passing yards. The year before that, he only had 13 touchdowns and 11 interceptions. 158.6 passer rating to a 129.9. Completed 72.4% of his passes to 67.1. And his QBR, 65.4. The year before, it was a 63.8. So he improved in literally every way. And he only really had maybe one and a half games of the pass blocking figuring itself out. Like, his O-line for much of this year was probably worse than it was last year. And now they've just started figuring things out. And then look at TJ Lateef, who's a 63.3 QBR right now. a 239.2 passer rating, 81 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns. He's completing 85.3% of his throws, 466 yards and 34 attempts, 4 touchdowns, no picks. The quarterback development at Nebraska this year has been among one of the more impressive developmental jobs in the Big Ten and in America, if this holds especially. The program stability, with Rhule signing that extension, with the 2027 recruiting class taking off, Rhule will be entering year 4 in 2026. First time since his job at Temple, where he's been at one place for 4 years. The stability will improve recruiting. It'll strengthen the culture. It will bring more credibility back to Nebraska. And with a lot of these players returning next year, the team should also continue its trend of linearly improving in 2026. And last but not least, you got the roster upgrades. So this is recruiting. Recruiting is improved under Rhule compared to where it was under Frost. The 2027 recruiting class will be Rhule's best. It has the chance to be a top 15, top 10 recruiting class. A chance. Will, I would say, most definitely be a top 20 recruiting class. And you also have to consider the transfer portal, where receiver additions panned out this time around, corner additions panned out, linebacker additions panned out. Williams-Nwaneri looks like he could be a star, and Spindler has been one of their better offensive linemen. So, or linemen, not linemen's. What am I saying? Anyway, the point being, Rhule and this program are heading in a positive direction. That's not something I think you can refute. And just what a job by the Nebraska Cornhuskers under Matt Rhule. I'm proud of this program. I have sat by for several years under Scott Frost. Nebraska fans know me very well as someone who isn't directly a fan of their program, but probably indirectly is a fan of their program. I like seeing them succeed. I really do. And I'm happy to say that they're 7-3, and it would be pretty awesome to see them finish out this year strong. But even if they don't, even if they maybe drop that game to Penn State and Iowa, even if they finish 7-5, they got that win over UCLA in a very tough spot, coming off that emotional loss. They're recruiting well. They have a good budget. They're attached to Rhule for the long run, and I think only good things are coming for the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Thank you for watching. It's my mission on College Football with Sam to make you the most informed, knowledgeable, and entertained fan as possible. We aren't perfect, but we hit the nail on the head more often than we hit our thumb with the hammer. Make sure to like, subscribe, ring the notification bell, comment, and if you're here, you've probably already watched the whole video. So thank you for doing those things.